All right, so are you ready to dive into some India news today?
Always. India is such a fascinating place to watch right now. So much going on.
It really is. And FinShots always digs up some intriguing stories.
Right.
Like this one about NTPC kind of blew my mind a little. They're going to get this totally green energy.
Yeah, I saw that. And by 2032, that's not that far off either.
No, it's not. We're talking 60 gigawatts from coal, which is like what they're known for, to all renewables. That's a heck of a 180.
Huge. I mean, NTPC's been, not exactly environmentally friendly for a long time. So this is a massive, not just for them as a company, but for all of India. Shows where their heads are at on climate change, right?
Totally. Plus, they're launching an IPO for this whole green energy division.
Which is smart. It's getting a ton of attention, and not just within India. Global investors are all over this. It's a big deal.
I can see why. I mean, an IPO focused entirely on green energy. That says something about where investors are putting their money these days, doesn't it?
For sure. It shows that renewable energy isn't just a niche market anymore. It's where the smart money is going. And NTPC, they're clearly trying to capitalize on that.
Trying? Sounds like they're going all in on this. 60 gigawatts by 2032? That's not messing around. They're aiming to be a major player in the global renewable energy scene.
Rightfully so. And you know what? Their success could have a ripple effect.
How so?
Well, if they can pull this off, other big companies in India and elsewhere might just be inspired to follow suit. It could really accelerate the transition to cleaner energy on a global scale.
Like a domino effect.
Exactly. But let's be real, this kind of shift, for a company as massive as NTPC, it's not going to be a walk in the park.
Yeah, no kidding. What sort of hurdles are they looking at?
Oh, where to even start? The sheer scale of it, the infrastructure alone for renewable energy generation, distribution, that's immense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's not just about the technology, is it? There's the human element, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Think about the jobs tied to the coal industry in India. That's a lot of livelihoods potentially affected by this transition. Managing that social and economic impact, that's huge.
Really puts things into perspective, doesn't it? Even with the best intentions, big changes come with big complexities.
No doubt. It'll be fascinating to see how NTPC handles those complexities in the years to come.
Yeah.
Definitely one to keep an eye on.
For sure. Now, shifting gears a bit, from one crucial part of India's infrastructure to another, this FinShots piece on road safety, it was a bit of a gut punch, honestly.
Oh, yeah, I read that one. Pretty sobering stuff.
Really makes you think. They were saying that even though India has way fewer cars than a lot of other countries, their road fatality rate is shockingly high.
It is. You'd think, logically, fewer cars, fewer accidents, right? Not the case, apparently.
Right, so what's the deal there? Bad roads, bad drivers, or something else entirely?
It's a whole mess of factors, honestly. Infrastructure definitely plays a role, no doubt about that. Road quality, the way traffic's managed, even vehicle safety standards, there's room for improvement across the board. But
it's not just the physical stuff.
Right. There's a cultural aspect to it too, attitudes towards traffic laws, how strictly those laws are enforced, that kind of thing.
So it's like, you can't just build better roads and call it a day. You need to build a culture of safety too.
Exactly. And that's a much tougher task. It's got to be a multi-pronged approach. Improving the infrastructure, yes, but also strengthening law enforcement and really raising awareness about responsible driving.
No easy answers there.
Yeah.
But definitely a challenge India needs to tackle head on, for sure.
Couldn't agree more.
Now, speaking of challenges and innovation, let's talk about another big name in India Reliance Industries.
They're really making waves these days, especially on the tech front.
Yeah, what they're doing with Jio, their telecom arm, it's pretty wild.
That Diwali offer, did you see that? 100 gigabyte of free cloud storage, just like that.
Like it's nothing, but it's a direct shot across the bow, right? Google Drive, Apple iCloud, they've got to be feeling the heat.
For sure. I mean, Google and Apple, they're so embedded in India. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
What do you think Reliance's end game is? Are they seriously thinking they can topple the giants?
It's hard to say for sure, but I think it's bigger than just cloud storage. They want to build this whole digital empire,
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
They've already got telecom unlocked. They're making moves in e-commerce, digital payments. It's all connected.
So this free storage thing, it's like a loss leader, right? Get people hooked on the Reliance ecosystem.
Exactly. Once you're in, it's hard to leave. And Reliance, they know how to play the game. Remember when Jio first launched? Data prices went through the floor. Everyone else was scrambling.
It was like the Wild West of telecom for a while there.
Exactly. And I wouldn't put it past them to do the same thing here with cloud storage. They've got deep pockets and they're not afraid to shake things up.
Classic disruptor playbook. And this time, it's Google and Apple in their sights. Talk about a David and Goliath story. Although, I'm not sure who's David and who's Goliath in this scenario.
Either way, it'll be fascinating to watch. This is about who controls the future of digital in India. High stakes.
Speaking of high stakes, although in a totally different sense, this next FinShot story was just different. It's about a community in Tamil Nadu that makes its living by extracting snake venom.
Oh yeah, the Irula tribe, they're incredible.
Incredible and kind of terrifying all at the same time, right?
Well, they know what they're doing. They've been doing it for generations, and they're actually providing a vital service.
Right, the anti-venom, it's literally life-saving.
Exactly. It's amazing they've taken this ancient knowledge and found a way to make it work in the modern world. And it's not just a job, it's essential for public health.
You're right, it's like a direct line from tradition to modern healthcare. Although the article did mention that this snake venom industry, it's facing some hurdles.
Yeah, they kept it pretty vague though, didn't they?
They did. Which, just makes me more curious. What could possibly threaten this whole operation?
It does make you wonder, right? Okay, so shifting gears again. Let's talk about something that affects us all, at least indirectly. The US Fed, they cut rates again. And FinShots was saying this could have some serious ripple effects in India.
Yeah, the whole when America sneezes, the world catches a cold thing.
Yeah.
But seriously, is it really like that? How does something the US Fed does impact a country like India thousands of miles away?
Well, think of it this way. The U.S. economy, it's still a driving force globally, so what they do with their money, it matters everywhere. When the Fed cuts rates, like they just did, borrowing money in the U.S. gets cheaper.
Okay, so far so good. But how does that affect India?
Investors, they're always looking for the best return, right? So when U.S. rates are low, they start looking elsewhere, and emerging markets like India, they become very attractive.
So more money flowing into India, that's got to be a good thing for their economy, right?
It can be. It can boost growth, and it usually makes the Indian rupee stronger against the dollar. But, and this is the important part, there's always a flip side.
Oh, what's the catch?
Inflation.
Yeah.
More money coming in, demand goes up, prices start rising. It's a delicate balance.
A balancing act, that's for sure. It's incredible, really, how interconnected everything is. Speaking of interconnectedness, this last story from FinShots about a potential global coffee crisis, that hit a little too close to home. Are we all going to be drinking instant coffee soon?
Not quite instant, but yeah, it's a real concern. Climate change is hitting coffee-producing regions pretty hard,
Yeah, I'd heard bits and pieces, but I didn't realize it was this serious.
It's a perfect storm, basically. Rainfall's changing, temperatures are up, pests and diseases are spreading. All of it affects how much coffee they can actually grow.
So less coffee, which means?
Higher prices, most likely. And not just a little bump either, we could be talking about a significant increase.
Ugh, that's rough. And I love my coffee, so this is hitting me right in the caffeine cravings. But it's bigger than that, isn't it?
Way bigger. This whole coffee thing, it's like a microcosm of this global interconnectedness, Something happens on one side of the world and suddenly your morning cup of joe is affected. It's a reminder that climate change, it's not just some abstract concept, it's having real-world impacts on everything.
It's a wake-up call, that's for sure. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? Green energy revolutions, road safety nightmares, snake venom, even the fate of our coffee supply.
Yeah.
Never a dull moment.
That's India for you. Always something interesting happening.
That's for sure. But what stood out to you the most? What's the one thing you're going to be thinking about after we finish recording?
Honestly, that whole reliance thing, it's like watching a chess match in real time. They make their move with the free cloud storage. Now we wait to see what Google and Apple do.
Right. It's like, is this the beginning of the end for their dominance? Or are they going to come back with some counter move that blows reliance out of the water? So much intrigue.
Exactly. And the thing is, whatever happens, it's going to have huge implications, not just in India, but globally. The tech world is watching this very closely.
No pressure reliance. But seriously, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, and let's be real, who isn't? FinShots is the place to be. They always find the most interesting stories and they break them down in a way that's actually enjoyable to read.
I second that. They become my go-to for keeping up with what's happening in India.
Mine too. All right, well, that's about all the deep diving we have time for today, but hey, the conversation doesn't have to stop here. What do you think? Will Reliance actually manage to dethrone the tech giants? Let us know. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and we'll catch you on the flip side.